with more twists and turns than an Agatha Christie whodunit. The tightest, most competitive, most unpredictable A-League season in history continues this evening on Darug country at Combank Stadium in Sydney's West. It's the Western Sydney Wanderers against the reigning champions, Melbourne City, in the big one. Saturday night football on Channel 10 and Paramount Plus. Well, the crazy results have continued all weekend so far. This is the penultimate match of round 16. You can see our two sides on the Isuzu UTE tunnel camp waiting to make their way out onto the pitch. This is Wonderland, the home of the Western Sydney Wanderers. And this evening, well, neither side wants to die wondering. Only victory will do. Melbourne City, it's a big week for them. They return to Asian football action on Wednesday night in Korea against Ulsan. They have been slowly dropping off the action and out of the top six with results this weekend. For the Western Sydney Wanderers, well, Ryan Fraser and Lawrence Thomas, their captain, described their capitulation in last weekend's Sydney derby as embarrassing. Well, the fans that have turned down in Combank this evening want only one thing, and that is 3 points that won't lift them off the foot of the table, given the Mariners' victory in Queensland earlier today. But it will lift them right back in the hunt. Let's have a look at how our two sides line up. 3 changes for Gary Van Egmond as the Wanderers look to bounce back. Josh Brillante returns, possibly in the middle of a back 3 in defence alongside Philip Kankar and Anthony Pandazopoulos. Steven Ugarkovic also comes into midfield alongside Dylan Cicluna and Angus Thurgate. Aidan Hammond and Alex Gersbach should be the wing backs, and then Costa Barbarouses up front with that danger man, the Scotsman Ryan Fraser, who has 2 in his first 2. Simmons, Kraeff and Borrello dropping out of the starting 11. 3 changes also for Aurelio Vidmar and Melbourne City. Nathaniel Atkinson returns from suspension and steps into that Kai Truen midfield role alongside Ryan Teague and the returning Andreas Kuhn, who seems to have shaken off that knee complaint. The other change, Marcus Eunice makes his first start since joining on loan from Brøndby in Denmark. He'll play on one flank, Alessandro Lopane on the other, and Medin Mehmeti, who has 3 goals in his last 3 for Melbourne City, will play the central striking role. Max Caputo, the club's top scorer, starts on the bench alongside new signing Daniel Arzani. Gary Van Egmond, the man in the hot seat after the last season and a half under Alan Stadjic. Often the call for a change in formation. We'll wait for confirmation on the pitch of how they do actually line up, but it looks as though Gary Van Egmond has decided that it is time to try something new in Wonderland. There are those fans who got a brief taste of finals football last year. Aurelio Vidmar, he's going through his toughest spell since taking over at the helm of Melbourne City. A big night for Eric Saba, just his 2nd match in charge of an A-League men's encounter. The first was a scoreless draw between the Mariners and Melbourne City back in round 6. He's being assisted by Kearney Robinson and Andy Alum. Nathan Shakespeare is the 4th official, and in the VAR room, Sam Kelly and Tim Danascus. There is Daniel Arzani just behind Kearney Robinson there. There he is, the new star signing, Zane Schreiber, Liam Bonnetig, and the top scorer Max Caputo on the left there, who has been in and out of the side in recent weeks, but we have been told to expect a few minutes of Daniel Arzani this evening. We are all set for a start. There is Costa Barbarouses. Enjoys playing against Melbourne City. 13 goals in 36 for the Kiwi international. And we are underway in Wonderland. The Western Sydney Wanderers, who are rock bottom of the league after that embarrassing outing a week ago against Sydney FC in a 4-1 defeat. They need to bounce back against a Melbourne City side who are teetering on the edge of finals football themselves. Daniel McBreen, it's been an unpredictable league. We've been enjoying these sides fighting for each other. Anyone able to beat anyone. But for these two sides in particular, now it's time for action.
Well, it's now or never, Robbie. Particularly for Western Sydney, 4 points adrift as it stands at the start of this game, with the Mariners winning earlier today. Melbourne City, they will definitely want to put another point in that win margin before they head off to Korea for their Asian Champions League commitments over the next 2 matches. And as you intimated in your little prelogue there, that Van Egmond has made a little bit of a change. Brillante playing in the back line. I think with the ball they might go to a back 3, but looks like a 4 without the ball.
As Atkinson goes looking back post, Kankar, who is that hybrid position. Philip Kankar of a right back in position and a right centre back in possession rather, and without it, a more standard right back.
Well, I spoke to Gary Van Egmond before the game. He said he just felt that they need a little bit more control in that back 3rd area. Who better to do that than Josh Brillante? I think Stephen Ugarkovic wouldn't mind that as well, now being in his more favoured position as a defensive midfielder. In there with Shakluna and Angus Thurgate. I did notice when they got the ball in the first minute, Skersback pushed up to the left, and Ryan Fraser just made his run inside as almost like a second striker to go in behind. So interesting to see how that unfolds as the game goes on.
Well, formations are more and more fluid. Players play in positions depending on who has the ball, who of the opposition has the ball, whether they're in possession or without. As Kankar heads back to Lawrence Thomas. The basic premise of the game remains the same despite all that: score a goal.
Well, that's something that Western Sydney haven't done too much this season. Just 12 goals. Hasn't been raining goals for Melbourne City either. Just 2 wins from 9 for both of these teams. So they really need a change in fortunes, and they need it quickly.
Melbourne City, even when they have been able to find the back of the net in recent weeks, they've scored 2 in each of their last 3, but only 1 win in that time as well. So their normally assured defence has also been breached.
It's deserted them over the last 2 weeks, hasn't it? Goals conceded. Interesting, I was looking at the scoring patterns. The previous 9 games, they only scored a goal or less. So it's slim pickings for both of these. So something has to change, something has to give.
There's certainly no lack of quality out there when you look at Western Sydney with Ryan Fraser, who has 2 in 2, Costa Barbarouses, who has 107 A-League goals, Aidan Hammond, who is a young flyer, making his way in the game as well with plenty of promise. Same goes for Melbourne City as well. Medin Mehmeti wrestling with Kankar. That will be a good one to keep an eye on as well. Andreas Kuhn has quality. Marcus Eunice, who's up against his dad, Ray Eunice, the strength and conditioning coach of the Western Sydney Wanderers this evening. He's got 2 in his last 2. There is Dad, who was in Macarthur a couple of weeks ago to see his son make his debut for Melbourne City. It was a 6-2 defeat, but the youngster was on the score sheet on debut for Melbourne City. He made his A-League debut for Western Sydney. Marcus Eunice only got the 1 goal in 11 appearances, but as fate would have it, it was against Melbourne City, of which there are just about 10 or so travelling fans who have made the trip up on this Saturday evening for this one. A little pocket of support who were not happy about that free kick being given away by Andreas Kuhn. Big night for our referee as well, Eric Saba. The main game, the Saturday night game, just his second in the A-League. Here's Hammond. Turned into trouble, but sheer persistence keeps going. Got the better of Aziz Bajic, nonetheless. Now, Cicluna. Dylan Cicluna with Ugarkovic. Thurgate. Back, and we expect Melbourne City to dominate possession. That's well played by the Wanderers. Holding on to the ball. That's what Gary Van Egmond talked about when he said control. And obviously you want to have control in the opposition half as well. They've managed to go back 60 metres, but they still have the ball. Here is Josh Brillante, again the former Melbourne City player, as is that man Stephen Ugarkovic, a champion last season with Melbourne City. Kankar pressing from Mehmeti. Cicluna back to Lawrence Thomas. They were forced all the way back. Now they have found Gersbach. One for Fraser to try and chase. It was exactly what you were talking about earlier, Macca. Gersbach pushing up, Fraser stepping inside momentarily.
Well, I did say before the game, I'll let this fall out.
Hammond running at Bajic, turning him inside out. Oh, just wide. Took a big deflection. Aziz Bajic looked like he was going to lose his footing at some point, but he stayed on his feet and made an important touch.
He's looked sharp already, hasn't he? And Hammond just gets it on the outside, and it's just enough from Aziz Bajic. You see there, he almost fell backwards.
That whistle just past the post. I think Patrick Beach would have been beaten there. He's not used to conceding so many goals, the Socceroo goalkeeper. Ball near post, Ferreira. Now that ball was ricocheting around like a pinball. It's caught someone in the face, and let's hope it's nothing too serious. Is it Harry? Oh, it's Andreas Kuhn. He's only just come back from a niggling little knee injury which saw him out of the 11, but coming off for cameo appearances off the bench before the club just decided to try and get it right. He sat out for a couple of weeks. Have a look at this. In fact, it might not be the ball, it might have been Ferreira.
Some friendly fire. See both players looking to win the ball. And Ferreira, he is a ferocious defender. And they say go and take ball and all. His own teammates seem to be in the mix.
And now he's just doing a little bit of fashion design work, the Argentine central defender. He must have picked up the wrong socks. Now Andreas Kuhn just in a conversation with the doc, because any head knock, and that was not the ball, so it's even perhaps more dangerous, head on head. Mind you, the ball can do some damage, but has to be checked for concussion. He's making his way around the far side of the field and ready to rejoin by the looks of things. Suprayon looks long, one for Mehmeti to chase. Took a while to get his first goal this season, but he's got 3 in his last 3. Medin Mehmeti to add to the 5 he got in his inaugural A-League season last term. Bajic gets it back from Suprayon. Touch is not the best. Closed down quickly by Thurgate. Both these sides absolutely desperate for the 3 points this evening. It obviously goes without saying, but when you're a club like Western Sydney, who produced some great talents, played some really entertaining football last season, it just hasn't been the case this term. They're looking for just their 5th win of the campaign in match number 16. Ferreira kept in just by Shillington. He did well, and now Yunus, but that's come off him. Referee's assistant on that far side signalling throw in for the Western Sydney Wanderers. Goes back. The throw, he was looking for Thurgate. It was played straight back by Ryan Teague. Big night for Ryan Teague as well. Macca, since returning on loan from Mechelen until the end of the season. The idea, the ultimate goal, is Socceroos football in the World Cup, but to do that, he also needs to start making an impression on this league.
Yeah, without doubt. Well, he set such a high bar in his victory days, didn't he? Partnering alongside Jordi Valadon. Hasn't had the minutes he would have liked overseas, so it may take a little while to settle in, but he needs to step up to the plate. Big shoes to fill. I've said it before that Kai Truan, I believe, is the kind of player that it's not until he's gone that most people realise how big of an influence he was. And he's an exceptional talent, but I think Ryan Teague really has to step up into that plate and say, right, that's my role now, and really control this midfield for Melbourne City.
There was the run from Gersbach, but he couldn't find Ryan Fraser. And now he's had to track back quickly. Yunus, one of the danger players. Ball to the back post. Lopane climbing over Kankar, but couldn't get enough purchase on the header. Thurgate now. Cicluna gets it out. Here, a first chance to see the Scotsman, Ryan Fraser, running at Harry Shillington, the youngster. With Gersbach, he looked immediately for the return ball. Nathaniel Atkinson just stepping into right back to help out Harry Shillington, perhaps. Another reason why on the team sheet, nominally at least, there are 2 right backs out there with Shillington and Atkinson.
Well, just over 12 minutes gone. I find it a little strange that they haven't isolated Ryan Fraser out wide against Shillington. He's coming inside for Gersbach to get over the outside. I would have done the complete opposite.
Now they might be able to break forward quickly. Barbarouses for Fraser. It's a good ball. Fraser closed down quickly by Ferreira. Well, it was turned over very cheaply by Melbourne City. That's been something causing them problems. And the corner is taken quickly. Fraser, cross blocked by Andreas Kuhn. That was a massive first opportunity inside the opening 15 minutes for the home side.
So much space when the ball was turned over, wasn't there?
There's Harry Shillington. He'll be looking forward to the challenge, of course, coming up against Ryan Fraser. Former Premier League player with Bournemouth, Newcastle United, more recently of Southampton, before joining just until the end of the current season with the Wanderers. Good ball for Barbarouses. Here is Fraser. Panasopoulos was a particularly bitter pill to swallow for Panasopoulos, the derby last week. After all the tour, Aidan Hammond with Thurgate. Looks as though Thurgate's brief is to play a very attacking midfield role this evening. Almost as a second striker at times, alongside Barbarouses. Fraser back with Gersbach again. Panasopoulos. City organised in that almost like a 4-2-4 formation at times. Barbarouses, great touch back for Ryan Fraser, looking for the little 1-2. Oh, the mistake, Hammond, brilliantly done Beach, as Barbarouses went flying in as well. Well, panic stations at the back for Melbourne City. That would have been a calamitous goal.
Well, it was just a little sloppy, wasn't it? Samuel Suprayan, a hand in the goals given away last week. Well, almost had a hand in that there. Patrick Beach quick to react and a strong challenge to save face.
Well, Suprayan now trying to tell Nathaniel Atkinson that there was no talk, but he was completely unaware of Aidan Hammond behind him. For a player of that pedigree and that experience, almost unforgivable from Samuel Suprayan. Here's Lopane now. Ugarkovic there to intercept. Hammond again, who's been lively. It's a good ball for Ugarkovic. Barbarouses, now they can get Fraser in that one-on-one position. Barbarouses. Fraser comes back, overlapping run. Well played, Gersbach. Wanderers towards Barbarouses. Cicluna now. Brillante, good switch. Flag is down for the moment. Play continues. Gersbach with Fraser again. He's looking to get on the ball a lot, Ryan Fraser, which is encouraging. Gersbach, that's a good ball into the box. Fraser one way. Claims that he had his legs swept out from underneath him by Ferreira. Referee no time to dwell because Lopane was charging up the other end.
Well, it looked a great challenge, didn't it, on first viewing? Looks to come inside. Graham Ferreira there, you see, gets a toe on the ball. Good tackle.
A lively start from the home side, the Western Sydney Wanderers, no doubt stung by hearing that the Central Coast Mariners got up against Brisbane, which means they are 4 points adrift at the bottom. It is still incredibly tight, but that's now 13 points between top and bottom in the league. We have a new leader as well, at the moment anyway. Newcastle take on Adelaide tomorrow in the final match of the round, and will have the opportunity to retake top spot in the league. But at the moment, Auckland have steadied their rocky little ship of recent weeks. Big win over Sydney FC earlier today. Still navigating turbulent water, Aurelio Vidmar for the moment anyway. Here's Fraser again. Well, already starting to see more of the ball. That's a lazy foul from Yunus, and an easy decision for referee Eric Saba. Yellow card.
Well, it wasn't a difficult decision, was it? As soon as Ryan Fraser took off, Yunus is nowhere near the ball. Just cuts him down and stops the attack.
Goals against MacArthur and the Phoenix in the last 2 weekends for Marcus Yunus. Same goes for Medin Mehmeti, the number 35 up front, to which you can add the winner against Auckland in that great second half performance. That's a great touch from Gersbach. Fraser getting down to the bylines, across, too close to Patrick Beach.
Gersbach with a great touch there, straight in behind. Maybe that's what they've been working on the training field. Just bypass Fraser and let him spin and use his pace to get him behind. Just in that little channel area. Here it is again, look at that first touch, brilliant. Nathaniel Atkinson not able to keep up. And he just tries to dink it to that back post area, hang it up, but Patrick Beach covers well. Didn't quite get the elevation on the cross.
Josh Brillante all the way back to to Lawrence Thomas, Panazopoulos. Melbourne City haven't had a shot yet. That's a good ball. Look at the space. Goes back on the charge again. Fraser takes off now. Look at Thurgate on the edge of the area. Fraser hits it first time. Oh, and it's hit Ferreira in the head. He immediately went down, but Western Sydney aren't happy because they had the ball in a very attacking position. Referee, though, as instructed, if a player has a head knock, immediately make sure they're okay.
You'll see the run of Ryan Fraser. Just took two defenders out the way into Sturgate. In acres of space on the edge. Thought he was going to line one up for himself, but just tease it up. I'll tell you what, that was going to trouble Patrick Beach, but Ferreira took it flush in the head, and he doesn't go down when he's not hurt.
Looks like he's conversing with the physio and the club doctor there. You can see from the reaction of Patrick Beach that he was concerned that ball might have been curling towards that top corner. Well, let's head down to Kat Haddad, who's with us on the sidelines this evening. Kat.
Yeah, what a first 20 minutes. With the unpredictable nature of the Western Sydney Wanderers formation, it was a huge question that we had pre-game. You can imagine Aurelio Vidmar was just as unsure as to what they would bring tonight. There is a lot of pressure on Ale Lopane to really push and to put that pressure on the Western Sydney defence. It's also Ryan Teague. Maka, you pointed out that with the absence of Kai Truan, somebody has to step up. There is a lot of pressure on Ryan Teague as well from the sideline, telling him to also add that pressure to push in that defensive midfield position as well. We will also be keeping a close eye on Germán Ferreira, because that was quite a knock to the head, and we do see that there's some warming up happening on the sideline, but we will let you know if there is any movement there.
Fantastic, Kat. It does look as though Ferreira has been cleared to rejoin the fray. It will be a drop ball. It will be Western Sydney's favour as well. Now they could go straight on the attack here. Melbourne City have to be careful. Referee is going to drop the ball for Ryan Fraser, who decides to bring it back with Josh Brillante, and Ferreira rejoins immediately. Cicluna, quick feed. It's a foul by Atkinson. Only needs one more yellow card, or rather he's just come back from suspension, Nathaniel Atkinson, so he won't be getting another.
I was going to say, Roddy, you haven't been on holidays, have you?
It's Andreas Kuhn who is still sitting in yellow card danger for Melbourne City. Look at that foul count against Melbourne City. They are the sides that commits the most fouls, and Wanderers are the side that commits the second fewest fouls in the league. Now, Panazopoulos copped his fair share of criticism last weekend. He's lining up this free kick. It requires saving as well from Patrick Beach. It was moving around in the air. It bounced dangerously just in front of the keeper.
It was an awkward one, wasn't it? And the players following in as well had to get a good hand on it.
Ugarkovic, heavy touch. Swept away by Mehmeti. Kuhn. Good challenge, Cicluna. And he's making up for his own error moments earlier and looking to release. Suprayon's touch only finds Hammond. Western Sydney back on the front foot. 50th A-League match for Samuel Suprayon this evening. Had plenty of injury problems. This is his third season now.
That surprises me that's only 50. Seems to be...
That's a good ball. Flag down for the moment. Thurgate blocked. Brilliantly blocked by Nathaniel Atkinson.
Well, that was a great block, wasn't it? That looked to be heading towards the bottom corner. Atkinson got across, saw the danger.
Goal-saving challenge by Nathaniel Atkinson, but again, it's Western Sydney on the front foot here.
He's onside. Just have a look at Nathaniel Atkinson here. Just straight away gets back across to cover the goal. Instincts took over straight away. Look at that. And I tell you what, Patrick Beach was at full stretch. He's going to be forced into a save there, I do believe.
Thurgate with the corner. In it comes near post. Barbarouses, who we know can produce an unorthodox, spectacular finish inside the penalty area. Scored a wonderful goal against the Mariners earlier this season. That was the third corner of the match for Western Sydney. None. Now there is an interesting stat, Daniel McBreen.
Well, I was just looking at that, and you said earlier that you expect City, as we all usually do, to have more of the possession. Well, that is very, very one-sided as far as the possession stats go. Look even further down the columns. Shots, none for City. Obviously none on target. No corners. When you look at Western Sydney, 7 shots, 2 on target, 3 corners. So you can safely say they've had the better of the first 25 minutes.
And a first foul of the evening from the Wanderers goes back on Eunice. They have been a bit of a blunt knife so far, Western Sydney, or rather Melbourne City going forward.
Well, I was about to say the other stat is that there is 0 touches in the Western Sydney box for Melbourne City.
Even speaking to Ryan Fraser in midweek, he was saying he expected Western Sydney to be looking to transition quickly against a Melbourne City side that enjoyed most of the ball. And they've really struggled so far to do that. Here's Bayage back with Suprayon. Kuhn long towards Alessandro Lopane, the former Western Sydney Wanderer himself. Like Marcus Eunice. Foul on Kankar, just catching the ankles. Fraser coming short. He tried to leave it for Barbarouses. City have it back with T. Immediately looking for Andreas Kuhn. It's tight though. There are plenty of Wanderers around. Ferreira now. The Argentine central defender. Able to get forward towards the halfway line, over the top for Eunice. His pace is a danger. Into the area, the cross, oh, just beyond Mehmeti. Well, how close to the old rope-a-dope was that? Sit back, look out of the game, and then strike.
Well, the defensive line, look how high that line is for Western Sydney, and when you've got the pace of Marcus Eunice, you've got to be very careful, and that's just a few inches away from a tap into an empty net.
Ferreira's nod down with Atkinson. Nathaniel Atkinson did play in central midfield a fair bit last season when City had no shortage of injury problems. Eunice just wouldn't sit for him. He'd beaten Gersbach again then. Cicluna with Brillante. Well played Lopane, getting the better of Thurgate. Ball inside for Mehmeti. All of a sudden, City starting to find their feet. Good challenge, Barbarouses. Cicluna with Thurgate. Fraser. Kankar was well played by the Wanderers. Look at the space. Barbarouses back with Hammond. Fraser back, it's a good ball for Hammond. They're in behind them again. Barbarouses leaving it, everybody leaving it. Nobody wants it for the Wanderers.
Well, Barbarouses must have got a call because he stepped over when he was in a decent position, and then Angus Thurgate, was it Alex Gersbach, getting in each other's way. That's great play down the right, and it's a good cutback. And they just got in each other's way. It was yours, mine, and in the end it was really no one's.
Great turn, Thurgate, shot blocked. Again, here's Kankar now. Aidan Hammond. Lioliru. Ugarkovic. Thurgate again. Early cross just behind Barbarouses. Falls back to Barbarouses. Goes down under the challenge of Suprayon. Stays down as well, Barbarouses. Now, Wanderers in no hurry to take the throw in because that would veto any VAR call. Now let's have a look.
Let's have a look at the rebound here. Just comes back to, I think Suprayon just gets in front of him, doesn't he? Just gets the foot up quick, just quicker. There it is. Gets in front.
Yep.
It's perfectly timed. Mr. Barbarouses obviously having to wind up to get the power for the strike, and Suprayon just slipped in front. Almost a wishful appeal from Gary Van Egmond there.
Just a little impromptu drinks break there while everyone decided that it has been an exceptionally warm day again in Sydney's west. No drinks breaks officially this evening. Referee just being a little bit lenient perhaps as both sides take on fluids. Brillante for Hammond. Kankar has been given a new lease of life under Gary Van Egmond. Philip Kankar, who returned from the Jets at the start of the season but last season couldn't force his way into Alan Stagic's plans. Foul by Barbarouses on Shillington. You may have thought Fraser was a handful. All of a sudden he was being double teamed by Fraser and Barbarouses. Harry Shillington. Melbourne City though, big vote of confidence for Harry Shillington when they let Talbot go last season.
Well, even in this game, it could have been, the thought may have been that Nathaniel Atkinson should go there. They can put another midfielder in, but they've backed the young man.
Atkinson. Very comfortable on the ball, Nathaniel Atkinson. Great turn from Andreas Kuhn. Looks to accelerate. Eunice was a great first touch. Goes down corner, says the referee.
Well, he's looked dangerous, Marcus Eunice, with his runs forward, hasn't he? What about the pace there from Andreas Kuhn? Cheeky little pass. And it's Panazopoulos with the final touch as Eunice was primed to take the strike.
Great challenge by Anthony Panazopoulos. That will do his confidence plenty of good as well. Now Lopane with the corner. First of the evening for Melbourne City to the back post. Panazopoulos again. It's going to go out for a corner on the other side now. Anthony Panazopoulos. I think in the Sydney Derby, it's the first game he's come off before the end of the 90 as well this season. With 20 minutes left to play. Just capping off a pretty miserable night for Western Sydney. And then number 22. Good claim. Lawrence Thomas looks up. Here's Barbarouses. He's got Fraser ahead of him. They're going to need some more support. Fraser comes short. Barbarouses again. Hammond at the back post. Kankar, of all players, getting forward there. He's been robbed of possession, though. Kuhn. Good little return ball, and he's fouled by Cicluna. Western Sydney working hard to even up the foul count all of a sudden. Bajic, no way through. Heavy touch from Kankar, who was then diving in. Kuhn again. Ugarkovic and Thurgate and Cicluna. No, they have to be careful with him around. Lopane, oh, it was a clever idea. Kuhn wasn't expecting it. Hammond. Good ball, good run from Fraser. And good pace from Shillington. Look out though, here's Gersbach. Fraser again, he's got Barbarouses coming short. Straight back to the Scotsman. Ugarkovic. Gersbach. Completely mishit cross. Just wasn't set for it.
Well, it was a disappointing end to a promising build-up. He's been asked to do a lot more attacking play tonight. Alex Gersbach in that high and wide position. We saw a couple of minutes ago Gary Van Egmond on the board working out a few things with his coaching staff, maybe a few tweaks at half-time, maybe even before. Must be pretty happy with the way things are going so far. Just that final product, not there yet. It's been a dominant display across most of the statistics we have in front of us.
Statistics may yet prove to be the bane of the Wanderers' season, because they all say they should be doing a lot better than they are. 9 shots to 0 so far as Samuel Supram goes on a rare charge forward. Patrick Beach without a clean sheet in his last 4 matches for Melbourne City, in which time they have conceded 10 goals. Lopane won't reach it. They still lead the league for clean sheets, mind you, as Aurelio Vidmar said in the pre-game. 13 of their 20 goals against have come in just a handful of matches, 3 matches. Thurgate was being tackled to the ground by Supréon. The referee doesn't want to allow the quick free kick so that he can distribute the yellow card.
Well, he did well there, Angus Thurgate. Just got his body underneath Supréon. There was not much he could do there. He had to bring him down. Professional foul. Otherwise, the only other option was to let him run. He had support as well.
Here's Thurgate again. Little flick for Hammond. Accelerates. Oh, and that was very well defended from Ferreira, who punches the air because he knows he had to make that challenge.
Well, he's looked lively, hasn't he? And Hammond, good forward run. It's a decent first touch as well. Ferreira. Strong as ever.
Now Gersbach with the corner. A 4th for the Wanderers. In a Calm's good area. And it's the smallest man in the penalty box, Costa Barbarouses. And I say that knowing that Ryan Fraser was just outside the box.
You can see all the players, Western Sydney players, heading to the back post. Mr. Barbarouas against Samuel Sopronet. I reckon Leo Vidmar and his coaching staff will be saying that can't happen.
It's been another pretty lackluster first half performance so far from Aurelio Vidmar's side. Perhaps they do have one eye on their next two matches, which will decide their fate in the Asian Champions League Elite. They currently need just a couple more points to go through to the knockout stages of that not only very illustrious continental competition, but very lucrative continental competition. Kankar gets there and ends up going through the legs of Andreas Kuhn. Cicluna, that was better from Ryan Teague, putting the pressure on in midfield. Thurgate, well, he's been causing the problems, Angus Thurgate. He's seeing a lot of the ball, and again Suprayon detecting the danger, steps out of defence.
Well, you said it earlier, Robbie, he's been playing a little bit higher, and I think that's his better position, more of an 8-10 going forward. The only criticism I have had of his game tonight is that maybe he could have pulled the trigger once or twice around the edge of the box.
Mehmeti, who's been in outstanding form, but a little bit like Max Caputo in recent weeks, we haven't seen too much of him in that central striking role for Melbourne City. Lopane. Thurgate tracking back. Throw goes City's way. And as is Bajic, comes forward to take the throw in. Andreas Kuhn offers short. They're certainly not set for the long throw. In fact, they bring it all the way back. Still only 35% possession with just a couple of minutes left in the first half. It's been a surprising season. I wouldn't say that's the most surprising thing we've seen this campaign, but certainly City's unpredictability, City's inability to play their football this season has been a massive surprise.
Well, the surprise to me there was that Lopane just gave that one up. The word from the sideline is that Aurelio Vidmar and his coaching staff have been screaming at him to do his job.
It's turned over though. There could be a little opening here. Atkinson blocked by Brillante. Well, that was their first chance, and it was pretty much of Wanderers making for Melbourne City. In the end, Josh Brillante in the right place, and a little misunderstanding. They've turned it over again. Fraser just dinks the ball into Thurgate in the middle. Teague had to be strong and was. Atkinson again, look out, Yunus is on the charge.
Well, that's the biggest danger, isn't it, for City at the moment? Yunus got himself a couple of goals in the last two games, earned his start tonight, and he's causing a few little headaches with his pace for that high Western Sydney back line.
Bajic, that's a great turn. Here's Lopane. Into the area, needs support, Andreas Kuhn. Here's Teague. Kuhn again with Lopane. Kankar diving in. This is a dangerous free kick.
Well, I'm not sure if it was a free kick, was it? Didn't he win the ball? I'll tell you what the Western Sydney bench thought about it. They were up in arms and still talking to the fourth official. And I'm with them. I thought that was a clean tackle.
Kankar wasn't impressed.
Does that do anything to change your mind, Robbie?
Well, it certainly looked as though it was all ball. Looks as though Lopane kicked the ball that sent him sprawling. as is Bajic, is standing over this free kick. So is Alessandro Lopane. Suprayon's at the back post. Ferreira is there as well. Mehmeti, Atkinson. Bajic delivers towards Suprayon. The header tipped over by Lawrence Thomas. Well played, City. Well played. The Wanderers goalkeeper as well.
Well, he may have lost a header at the other end to Costa Barbarouses, but he was out-muscling Alex Gersbach there. That's their first shot on target for the match, forcing a save from Lawrence Thomas.
Teague's delivery towards Atkinson at the back post. Now Ferreira has landed on the ground. Don't need to be a official lip reader to know what Nathaniel Atkinson was saying there to the referee. It's still going. The referee, Eric Sava, is just alongside him there. Still waiting to blow the whistle for his first A-League goal, Eric Saba. It's a scoreless draw, his one and only other match in the A-League. Gersbach, well played. Cicluna, and then almost cut out again by Lopane. Here's Aidan Hammond.
Sorry, that was a dangerous ball, wasn't it? I think it was Andreas Kuhn. If he just got a toe on that and was able to bring it in, well, they were on the back foot quickly.
Again, it's been a half of football where the Wanderers haven't taken their chances. Ryan Fraser with Cicluna. We've got just over a minute left in the 3 of stoppage time. Kankar. I'm not sure who he was looking for there. And then Herman Ferreira just decides to return the favour. Aurelio Vidmar, his turn to raise his arms in supplication on the sideline. Oh, lovely touch, Ryan Fraser, and well defended Harry Shillington again.
He's not doing too bad, the young man, is he? He's quick, he's strong. He's in his face.
Barbarouses. Gersbach. It's a nice turn, still going. That's going to run out for a goal kick. Again, Shillington doing the defending. Gersbach just asking Cicluna to cover him at left back momentarily as he sucks in the deep breath. Oh, that might have come off Shillington last, you know. That's certainly what Costa Barbarouses was arguing. He's done well, the youngster. Big ask for him in his young career. Beach goes long, but there will be no duel at the arrival point of that goal kick. Half-time at Combank Stadium. An outstanding start for the home side, the Western Sydney Wanderers. They dominated the ball, they dominated the chances, of which there were plenty. Some desperate defending from Melbourne City kept them in the game, and then through the pace of Marcus Yunus, the guile of Andreas Kuhn, they started to create a little bit of their own going forward. But neither side able to find the breakthrough in the opening 45 minutes. Half-time in Parramatta. Wanderers 0, Melbourne City 0. We're heading off to a very quick break. We'll be back with the Hungry Jacks half-time show. Don't go anywhere.
Lose to coaches. That's really frustrating because we're coaches and there's a consequence when you lose to coaches. To refereeing, there's not. And they come and they referee like it's a holiday and it's not good enough. That's really frustrating because we're coaches and there's a consequence when you lose to coaches. To refereeing, there's not. And they come and they referee like it's a holiday and it's not good enough. That's really frustrating because we're coaches and there's a consequence when you lose to coaches. To refereeing, there's not. And they come and they referee like it's a holiday and it's not good enough.
Welcome back to Combank Stadium. A familiar face in a new jersey. Welcome back to the A-League, Jacob Farrell, the former Central Coast Mariner, the former champion of the A-Leagues with the Mariners. He's back on loan from Portsmouth until the end of the season, and he's in red and black. We're underway at the start of the second half. Farrell on to replace Brillante, and we'll see if that means a little change in formation or whether Daniel McBreen, we know he can play a left-sided central defensive role as well. Perhaps Farrell, there's no Irankunda out there for him to come on and mark.
That was the first thing I thought as well. We've seen it so often, even happened in the championship recently. That, yeah, look, he's a player with A-League viewers will have seen at the left back position a lot, but he can play in that left centre back position. Grew up playing that position as well, so I'm sure he'll be just as comfortable in either.
And a first little welcome back from Marcus Eunice himself, only just back in the league as well. Now, as we were watching him warm up, Macca, it is fair to say that Jacob Farrell was a tall, gangly left back. Now, he's still tall and thin, but he's definitely put on a few kilos of muscle, I would say.
Well, he recently said about 6 or 7 kilos, so that's the difference. Building up that strength and that power.
Now, City did start to come back into the game in the latter stages of that first half of football. Whether from there it was enough to suggest that they can really cause the Wanderers some problems. There have been a side of 2 halves this season, as that one might just fall for Barbarousse. Suprayon alert to the potential danger. They came back to defeat Auckland with an excellent second half performance 3 weeks ago. These two sides met on the opening day of the season. Barbarousse and Caputo, the goal scorers. Both goals scored in the opening 15 minutes of that 1-1. It set the tone for some of the madness we were to see over the next 3 months of A-League football. But now, as we turn for home, the business end of the campaign, and points are at an absolute premium. Mehmeti for Eunice. Here's Cohen. Closed down very well by Cicluna. Taking on Atkinson. Going past him as well. Bundled into touch by Nathaniel Atkinson. And Patrick Beach negotiates that back pass from Ferreira. Now forward, nice touch, Eunice. With Cohen, they stay on the front foot, Melbourne City here. Cohen back inside, Eunice again, nice turn on Gersbach, but the cavalry was there. Farrell got it clear. Now Bajic straightens up, Cohen back for Bajic. All of a sudden it's Western Sydney trying to get everyone back. Shillington. Atkinson. Cohen again. Andreas Cohen trying to bend one. Blocked by Gersbach. Lupane. Atkinson. Ryan Teague with Bajic. Teague again. Ferreira. As they look to stretch both sides of the field to try and find some gaps in the middle. Western Sydney have stayed disciplined, have held their formation. Lupane's touch for Mehmeti. Cohen, look at the space on the left here. City! and Lopane couldn't keep it down. It was a good sighting, one of City's best so far.
Well, Andreas Kuhn, as he does so often, the provider, just laid it into the path, and you could see Lopane just trying to open the hips and bend it around into that far post area. Really leaning back a little too much and just got under it.
Lawrence Thomas, Farrell. That's given away. Shillington, Ryan Teague. Five minutes into the second half. Possession all Melbourne City's. Good touch from Atkinson, and the free kick from the foul by Thurgate. City trying to keep it moving, but a little too fast. The referee still wants it taken from the right place. And there's another little lecture for Aziz Bayic before we can finally get back underway. And it will be Bayic to take this free kick then. He looks up, the big switch, goes back. Had a sense of what was coming perhaps. Shillington with Atkinson. Heavy touch under pressure from Cicluna. Farrell. Arrived back in the country on Wednesday. Jacob Farrell has had more than his fair share of injury problems in the championship. Here's Andreas Kuhn for Yunus. Still there with Mehmedi Yunus. Oh, what a save! Lawrence Thomas, remarkable stuff. Point-blank range. Spread himself and produced one of the saves of the season to deny Marcus Yunus.
Well, his body's everywhere. And Yunus looked to have the goal at his beck and call, but Lawrence Thomas spread himself, and that says it all.
I think he's just seen it on the big screen and can't believe it now. Philip Kankar is down, holding his groin. Now that will not be good sight as Nathan Barry is quickly sent to warm up by Gary Van Egmond. Well, Harrison Devonish-Mears made a fantastic save earlier today to deny Sam Cosgrove.
Well, he spread himself well, didn't he? In the upshot, I'm not sure if there may have been a foul in the build-up, but no one was to know about that. Thomas with a great save, and that's frustration there, he knows.
Let's head down sidelines with Kat Haddad, who might have heard what we heard from the Sheds, Kat, at half-time.
Yes, indeed, a goalless first half, but a real tussle. So the messaging at half-time from Aurelio Vidmar was to stay positive, to take advantage of opportunities and show character in the second half, and also to be patient. Whilst for Gary Van Egmond's side, the messaging was that they're playing well. There are a couple of small tweaks when they don't have the ball that need to be made. Plenty of positive moments with the ball, but they need to convert that into goals. So hopefully some goals to see in this second half.
Well, you won't be surprised to hear that they have the worst attack in the land, the worst conversion and the worst shot accuracy. Wanderers, as Kuhn is just dispossessed. But for all of that, they take the fourth most shots in the league at goal, Western Sydney, and it's been again the case this evening. They lead the shot count 10-8, although that too has started to even up a little bit. Ugarkovic, that was strong contact with Lopane. Here's Lopane again, Samuel Suprayon turning back the clock. It's not a bad cross either. Farrell up and over his own crossbar, corner for Melbourne City.
Well, it's not too often to see Samuel Suprayon marching down that left-hand side as he followed the ball. A strong challenge preceded that, and a good ball across the 6-yard area.
Corner taken short, Teague. This is a training ground routine, cross in. Well defended, Aidan Hammond rising highest. Panazopoulos, Barbarouses, is there a foul? No, says the referee. Lopane gets it wide with Andreas Kuhn. Suprayon leaves it cleverly. Ryan Teague, nice football. Lopane trying to pass it into the back of the net now. Teague again, blocked again by Aidan Hammond. Getting through the defensive work there. Teague goes again, and Panazopoulos battling his way into front position. Now, how long can Philip Kankar keep going? Not much longer, by the looks of things, with that groin injury. Referee telling him to go off on the near side. He wasn't so interested. And that is Nathan Barry is coming on. Fourth appearance of the season for Nathan Barry, former Manly junior, former Joey as well, under 17 Australian Youth International. (19 years of age now. Now Barbarouses trying to get away. A little ball, Fraser wanted it in behind. They're still fine-tuning that relationship up front for the Wanderers. Thurgate. Barry. Ugarkovic. Thurgate again. With Lawrence Thomas. Look at the Melbourne City players in the opposition penalty box though. Referee had a long, hard look at it. Aidan Hammond thought he might have been away. Free kick on Ryan Teague.
Well, just a little nudge in the back.
City again, as is Bajic. Kuhn. Well, he is the creator in this Melbourne City side. 3 assists so far this season. He hasn't been operating at 100% in recent weeks either. That's a good ball for Mehmeti. It's off Panazopoulos, and it's another corner. A 5th of the evening for Melbourne City now.
Well, we spoke about how dominant in possession Western Sydney were in the first half. Complete role reversal here. City have come out. Words from Aurelio Vidmar seem to have done their job.
They'll certainly be hoping that they can put together 2 full halves of football on Wednesday in Korea against Ulsan. No match next week for Melbourne City. They've already played their round 17 clash. Now we have a Wanderer down again. It was a 1-0 win over Brisbane Roar back when Brisbane were playing a million matches. Their round 17 game. In fact, yes. And the game against MacArthur was the one that has been brought forward because MacArthur were also involved in Asian Champions League football, also not playing next weekend.
Well, you got there with a good little conversation with yourself, Robbie. You got it right. Yep. neither are playing next weekend.
Here is Shillington. It's working through the process. Ugarkovic. Well played, Ferreira. He also needed a big match. Herman Ferreira. Thurgate. Cicluna with Farrell. Here's Gersbach. Farrell again. Back to Gersbach. Lawrence Thomas for Nathan Barry. It was a good ball. It's a good header from Barry as well for Hammond. Getting the better of Aziz Bayic. Blasting right past him. The ball for Barbarouses, though, wasn't of the same order.
Well, he looked sharp at times in the first half, Aidan Hammond. Isn't that much to do going forward this half, but there's another brief snapshot of his pace. Final pass, again, letting them down. It's interesting you said earlier, Robbie, about the partnership blossoming. Interesting again, no Hiroshi Ivasuki tonight.
And they're into the area. Fraser drives it across the face of goal towards Barbarouses. Ugarkovic can't keep the shot down. Stephen Ugarkovic.
Well, nice play. It was a wicked ball across. Patrick Beach can only palm it out to the edge of the box. Stephen Ugarkovic unable to get the foot up and over the ball, just slices underneath and always rising.
Now, double change. Gersbach replaced by Kraev. Barbarouses replaced by Borello. That is now all 4 subs we've had in the second half have been for Western Sydney. In Melbourne City, their substitutes are still all warming up behind the goal, as we've just ticked past the hour mark. As Beach goes long. Now I assume Gersbach going off means that Jacob Farrell will move to that left back position. Lawrence Thomas under pressure from Kuhn. They've won it back, City. Atkinson. Teague looking for the little touch. Panazopoulos and Fraser with Ugarkovic. Ugarkovic hooking it forward. One for Kraev to chase. Now looking to switch to a flat back 4, you reckon, Macca, with Nathan Barry at right back?
But it looks that way.
Oh, as Borello almost snuck in there ahead of Suprayon.
Well, out of possession, Western Sydney seem to be a 4-1-4-1 at the moment.
Cicluna for Kraev. Hammond. Borello. That is a risky pass from Cicluna. Lopane. Barry does well. Here they come, Lopane, and it's Ugarkovic who clears under the nose of Yunus. And now there is some movement down on the City bench, and you can see that Daniel Arzani, on loan from Hungarian side Ferencváros, where he has played essentially no football over the last 6 months. It has been a fairly hapless time for Daniel Arzani. As that's turned over, Bajic pouncing on another approximate pass, and as is Bajic with an absolute classic. 20 minutes into the second half, and the Socceroo, the City captain, leading by example, pouncing on the loose ball, driving into the area, and finishing with aplomb. All class, Bajic. City lead the Wanderers by 1-0.
Well, on the Harvey Norman replay, you'll see it's an errant pass, trying to play forward. And as his Bajic just steps in, and he only had one thing on his mind, didn't he? Confusion at the back for Western Sydney. Well, there was no confusion from Aziz Bajic. He stepped in, takes it inside on his left foot, and he just tucks it away into the far corner. That is a really neat finish from Aziz Bajic. Lawrence Thomas with no chance. They've been dominant in this second half, and it's taken their fullback to step up and put one in the back of the net.
Look at that reaction from Aurelio Vidmar. He's normally a very mild-mannered coach on the sidelines. Perhaps that tells us just the pressure he's been under as well.
Well, it was just a bit of confusion, wasn't it? Barry and Thurgate not on the same page. Well, Aziz Bajic, he reacted quickly. And in the meantime, Daniel Arzani enters the fray.
Another of the Socceroos returning from Europe in the hope of minutes that will catch the eye of national team coach Tony Popovic. He was Arzani's coach at Melbourne Victory as well. Dylan Cicluna looks as though he has gone into that Kankar central defensive position in the meantime, which means Thurgate has dropped alongside Ugarkovic. Kraev came on into that more advanced role. Ryan Fraser is still out there now. Borrello, his turn to pounce on a loose ball, but his first touch let him and the Wanderers down. What a game of two halves this one is shaping to be. Shillington's header. The first match between these two ended 1-1 from Barbarouse's opening goal on 11 minutes. It took just 2 for Melbourne City to equalise. We're already past that immediate reaction, but here come the Wanderers, cut out by Atkinson. Ugarkovic with Farrell. Fraser. Thurgate. Fraser again with Farrell. Jacob Farrell. Ugarkovic. Didn't look bad off the boot. I think it might have bounced off Brennan Borrello.
Yeah.
Cicluna now. That won't make it all the way through to Fraser. Shillington, well, he could be in trouble here, Shillington. Was it ball on ball? He lunged into it. Farrell was sent sprawling. Well, he's not injured, Jacob Farrell. He's certainly not one to stay down either. Well,
that could have been a lot worse. Neither were backing down. Yeah, and the crowd has just seen it on the big screen, and you can hear, and now the Western Sydney players are getting even louder in their protestations as to why there was nothing in the way of a card.
Well, the VAR had a look. We are told check complete from VAR. I just wonder if, well, there's clearly contact on the ankle, but was there enough force? It looked as though perhaps the angle a bit deceiving. I'm not saying, but he didn't go straight through Jacob Farrell with that raised boot, but certainly the contact was on the ankle. Panasopoulos having a word to Bajic about it. Thurgate's free kick towards the back post. Beach came, thought better of it, and in the end needed to save from Panasopoulos.
Well, it's a dangerous ball to the back area. It probably just doesn't have the pace on it.
It's Jacob
Farrell,
with
yeah,
the back
Farrell
post.
trying to generate his own pace and gets it down and up.
Corner for Thurgate. A fifth for the Wanderers, their first of this second half. In it comes. Farrell again the target at the near post. Arzani, one of his first touches for Mehmeti. He's got Yunus ahead of him. There, you can see what the idea was. Get it in behind and let Yunus use his pace. Cicluna with Ugarkovic. Fraser with Farrell. Ugarkovic again. 20 minutes to go. Panasopoulos for Kraev. Referee says foul by Supreon. Thurgate finds Ugarkovic. Farrell. Wanderers come again in response to conceding that opening goal. Fraser, Ugarkovic. Ugarkovic still, he's had a couple of shots from distance. Stephen Ugarkovic. Barry with Hammond. Wanderers hold on to the ball, turn back out. All of City's dominance of the ball in the first 20 minutes of this second half have just evaporated after they've scored that goal and gone ahead. Arzani back for him, but oh, he does get there in the end because Cicluna turned into trouble. He got away with it. Fraser for Kraev. Barella was looking to come back inside, but he'll get there. Oh, Barella just took too long. Atkinson rides that challenge as well and is fouled by Farrell. More frustration for the Western Sydney Wanderers. And a couple more changes coming for Melbourne City now as well. Lawrence Wong and Max Caputo preparing to come into the game, so Lawrence Wong will come on for Lupane. There's no fourth goal in four for Medin Mehmeti, as Caputo will move into that central striking role. Not an easy night for Medin Mehmeti. Max Caputo, 6 goals so far this season. Caputo immediately getting the touch there, and Cicluna back with Arzani looking to pounce. Barry, he's given it away again.
Well, Aziz Bates was trying to hit Max Caputo there, and understanding just not there yet. Arzani on full stretch trying to bring it in. That's twice now. The first one resulted in a goal, but Barry has tried to play that ball forward and inside, and they've picked it off.
A long ball, Caputo, lovely control. Lawrence Wong was looking to take advantage as well. Arzani sees it out of play. Back where it all began, Daniel Arzani. Caputo for Lawrence Wong. Barry clears it back into touch. Now City will be happy just to take the sting out of things. Let the clock run down Aziz Bayic, his only other goal this season was a fantastic free kick against MacArthur. Here's Caputo. Shillington with Yunus. Nice turn. Yunus somehow. Shillington still. Yunus again. Oh, I thought he might collect his teammate. He might actually have caught Harry Shillington there. Marcus Yunus. He was setting himself for the bicycle kick, and he might have done some damage, or is it just a bit of cramp for Harry Shillington?
I think it's cramp.
Looks a painful one in that right calf. City effectively a man down as the Wanderers go looking for an equaliser. Kraev fouled by Arzani. Physio has been waved onto the field to go and bring some pickle juice and comfort to Harry Shillington, who is clearly in plenty of pain. You can see him still trying to stretch out as Macca. How about this from Aziz Bayic? Hasn't he returned to the A-League and scored some not only important but fantastic goals?
Yeah, exactly right. He reacted fastest there. He saw the errant pass and just drove, had a quick look, got his head up and then said, well, it's down to me, I'm going to put this one in. He's been a real leader, a real standout player in this team and across the league.
Shillington was charging back to try and defend, but he has to come off, having received treatment. So City will be defending this with just 10 players on the pitch. Made his debut for Melbourne City when they were still Melbourne Heart, as is Bayic. Thurgate's ball is a good one. Kraev's header! And Bojidar Kraev has found the equaliser with just 13 minutes left to play. City were a player down. Finally, one of those set pieces from Western Sydney found its target.
Well, Harvey Norman replay. It's a decent ball again from Angus Thurgate, but Bojidar Kraev just ghosts in between defenders, and it's a great header. Patrick Beach with no chance, but look here, no one. It's a really clear run towards the ball. No one trying to block the run or contest the ball. I don't think Bojidar Kraev could believe his luck. It's a fantastic header. Hasn't been on the field for that long, but he's made his mark.
A 96th A-League match for Bojidar Kraev and a 23rd goal, his second of this season. He's hit the post so many times this season. Now he's finally found the back of the net.
Lucky number 13 for the season.
When you think that they broke 50 last year at a canter in their highest ever scoring season. We are still a far cry from those halcyon days for this Wanderers team. As now Caputo runs onto Arzani's pass, the cross back post. Just too high for Yunus. Oh, but Fraser's turn to give it away. Yunus, little 1-2 with Wong. Ugarkovic gets there. I've got to say, the pitch has some massive divots in it. I saw Aurelio Vidmar was on the pitch trying to clean it up. Look at that one that's just come out. That can be very dangerous. Aurelio Vidmar was out there filling the divots because he doesn't want any of his players injured as they hit the business end of their Asian Champions League campaign as well. Fraser to the task at hand. Is that goal going to be the catalyst for a crazy finish here? Who is going to find the next response? The opening match of the season finished 1-1 between these two back in October. We're locked there again. Ferreira. Yunus under pressure. Kraev there to pick it off. Panasopoulos with Nathan Barry. Aidan Hammond hasn't seen so much of it in the second half. Running at Bajic again though. Goal kick. Well, his run at the start of the second half, there haven't been too many players that have skinned Aziz Bajic in the league this season. He certainly did that, but Bajic more than extracted his revenge in the 65th minute. Keep that in play. Patrick Beach can't find Shillington. Seems to have recovered from cramp at the moment. Kraev, oh, that's a wasted effort from Božidar Kraev. Gary Van Egmond asking more. He wants his team to keep their cool as well, I think. Stick to the plan.
Well, he's rearranged the back line again, hasn't he? I saw him talking to Steve Igarkovic earlier as we see the ladder as it stands.
And it's a point that doesn't really change much for anyone. Another goal, however, could change that considerably, certainly for Melbourne City.
Well, just on that change, Barry had moved into the centre-back position and Cicluna moved into the midfield position.
Still a little bit of tinkering. Lawrence Wong drives it in hard. Well, that was something a bit different from Lawrence Wong as they try and just jolt Melbourne City back into the contest again. They scored that goal and just went right back into their shells.
Took their foot off the pedal, didn't they?
It was like the first half all over again, except this time Western Sydney, through Božidar Kraev, were able to get their 13th goal of the season in this match number 16. There's plenty of buffeting around in that 6-yard box. Ball near post from Arzani. Teague, his former Melbourne Victory teammate, now united on the other side of the arrow at City. Arzani, Thurgate clears. Break could be on here. Kraev gets the better of Ferreira. Look at Panasopoulos, who'd come forward, but Aziz Bajic there again with Atkinson. Oh, Western Sydney not happy. If he played for it, Marcus Yunus, he did very well because he won the free kick. Double change coming. Bonatig and Peter Antoniou are coming in. Bonatig, who's a Western Sydney boy, brother Alex was playing here at the start of the season before heading off to America. Before then, Aidan Hammond is replaced by Jared Carluccio. So that's a 5th and final change for Western Sydney. And he will go on at right back. Carluccio is a recognised right back insofar as he came through the ranks as a midfielder, but has played at right back more than Aidan Hammond in this Wanderers side, and certainly in recent matches as well, under Alan Stajic and Gary Van Egmond. The changes at the back for Melbourne City concern this right side, where Bonatig has gone back to a part of a back three with Bajic and Antoniou the full-back, so a back five if you like. Fraser does well. Borello with Farrell. Well, that's not the easiest ball from Jacob Farrell. They've turned it over again here. Lawrence Wong looking for Caputo. It's too heavy. Neither side able to find that killer pass. Ugarkovic with Barry. Here's Panasopoulos. Borello. Thurgate for Farrell. Free kick. Probably Western Sydney looked as though they wanted a bit of advantage until that ball from Thurgate was overhit, but they have scored from a set piece. An Angus Thurgate free kick. They'll have another here from the other side. Marcus Eunice and Harry Shillington, the two players that went off as well for the introduction of Antonio and Bonatig. Thurgate. The delivery, back post, Beach comes and claims.
Well, he's put in some good delivery from set pieces tonight, Angus Thurgate, but right off the boot, that had too much air. Favoured Patrick Beach. Julie came and collected.
Again, though, it's Melbourne City's inability to claim that clean sheet, to defend a lead, which for the moment at least is proving costly. Caputo wrestling, he's caught Nathan Barry there, and he's cut him as well under the eye. So Max Caputo has been throwing the arms around. That looks like a pretty bad black eye under for Nathan Barry immediately.
There's plenty of blood coming out.
Ooh, and some swelling there. Well, there you see it.
Well, the arms go up to protect, but it's when they start swinging around is when you've got to be having a look. He's got a low card.
See the egg under that eye.
Let's have a look here. The arm goes up, just goes back as Barry goes forward as well. And I wouldn't say that it was a swinging motion, but it was moving towards him.
VAR had a look, check complete, happy with the yellow. Unfortunate one for Nathan Barry. There you can see it. You might recognise a few of them.
Well, do you know them from a long time ago? Both obviously still playing the game, keeping fit.
Well, Hutch has just been coaching until recently, hasn't he, in Japan?
Yeah, just moved back to Central Coast while ponders the next move.
The Paramount Plus Player Index, as is Bajic, who got that stunning opening goal for Melbourne City, leads the way. Thurgate provided the assist. Panasopoulos, it's been a good return to form for him as well. Now, Wanderers, as we see that Božidar Krajev goal again, hardly jumped, just managed to find him, really.
Yeah, it was an unimpeded run, and that there says it all. Scott Jamison's face, it's too easy. And let's not take away from the header, because he did contort his body and tuck it in the bottom corner. It was a great header, but defensively, it's too easy.
Now, is that a concussion sub? The fourth official is just telling the Western Sydney Wanderers that they've made their 5 subs. So Nathan Barry, they want to take him off. I just saw the no more motion from Nathan Shakespeare. It's Jai Rose, another with the little Mariners connection there. Oh, now this doesn't look good.
Well, Chris Bowling has just thrown the tactics board and said something, and I think he's got himself in trouble. The goalkeeper coach is talking to the fourth official, and now Demir Pradanovic is doing the same.
Well, Pradanovic is trying to get this 6th substitution across the line, so that means it's a concussion substitution for Nathan Barry. And Jai Rose comes on with 79 minutes of A-League football in 2 previous appearances. The 18-year-old. Another talented youngster came through the Mariners, the son of Mariners assistant coach Josh Rose, and another teammate of Messrs Vanswijk, Hutchison and McBreen. Kraev in towards Borrello. Kraev again with Jai Rose. Leaning in. Referee says throw in, nothing more. Aziz Bajic has a few choice words as well. Carluccio short with Cicluna. Now it's Dylan Cicluna gone back into the centre of defence again, with Nathan Barry going off. And there is another potential substitution that's just opened up for Melbourne City as well, if they choose to take it, because if one team makes a 6th concussion sub, then that becomes open to the other team. Wong for Arzani. Flag stays down for the moment. Arzani, oh, and that's a wasted ball. Not offside as well, a shake of the finger.
Yeah, Jacob Farrell just got his timing all wrong. And it was lucky that it didn't amount to something else.
Kraev for Borrello. Good ball. Jai Rose. Rose's cross overhit to the back post where Carluccio was arriving.
Well, this is why we saw the red card. Spalding not happy with the decision. Throws the tactics board.
Van Egmond still wants his side to keep going, to keep striving, to keep fighting for that goal. We're in the 3rd minute of stoppage time. They click past 90 in all the pandemonium of that cut to Nathan Barry. 3 minutes left for these two sides. Antoniou, his header forward. Jai Rose, good little touch for Ugarkovic. He gets it back, the youngster. Space on this right-hand side. Kraev, Carluccio takes off down that right-hand side. Carluccio trying to take on Bajic. Atkinson there in support. Some urgency about the Wanderers. They can't afford to stay cut adrift at the bottom. The Mariners' victory really put the onus on them to claim 3 points at home here. If they can get the win, they'll close to within 1 of Wellington Phoenix in 11th. Farrell, good challenge, but it will be a City throw. As it stands, a point will take the Wanderers to 16, 3 behind their next closest rival. Lawrence Wong, it was a lovely control, but that's going to be a goal kick. You can see the Wanderers. They're desperate now. Have they left it too late? We've got 90 seconds left. The referee could, of course, add on a couple more. Ferreira, he done well. Cicluna overhead. Well, this result, Macca, will suit Melbourne City. They have bigger fish to fry this week in the Champions League, and they stay just a point outside the 6.
Well, I wouldn't say that it suits them. The two teams, that they're probably the...
They have less to lose. Yeah. Why the result's staying as it is. Anasopoulos, Kraev, Carluccio. Can they produce it? Ryan Fraser. That's a good turn. Fraser drives it across. Back post, Dugarkovic. Squares it for Kraev. A little touch off Borello. And out for a goal kick. Now Jared Carluccio feels it should have been a corner. He'll pick up a yellow card for himself.
Well, he was adamant there was a touch there. None of his teammates seemed to think there was. From that angle, you can't tell. Borello just couldn't drag it in.
And if it was the faintest of touches.
He may have flicked the shorts, and that's maybe what they're discussing there.
The 6 minutes of stoppages have elapsed. We're at the referee's discretion. And that is that. 1-1 it finished back in October. 1-1 it finishes in the first weekend of February. It got a little bit spicy in the final minutes. A red card brandished to the Wanderers coaching staff. But they showed character, the Wanderers, after dominating the first half of football. It was City that stunned them with Aziz Bayic's wonderful goal. But the Wanderers, they dug deep, they fought back, and they got a deserved equaliser and a share of the spoils. And despite giving it everything in the final minutes, there was to be no winner. The Wanderers are 3 points adrift at the bottom of the standings. They have still just 4 wins to their name this campaign. They are battered and bruised, literally and figuratively. Father and son, Ray and Marcus Yunus there, catching up. The family reunion also finishes all square between the generations. Boshidar Kraev, second of the season, getting the Wanderers at least a share of the spoils, even if ultimately they wanted more. Finished here at Combank. Wanderers 1, City 1.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Yeah, it was a tough game. You know, it's never easy coming to this stadium. You know, they're a solid team, but obviously after going 1-0 up, you know, conceding from a set piece, that's what is the most disappointing. You know, it's a set play. It's all about concentration. So, yeah, look, it's disappointing, but, you know, we've got to take the positive. A point here at the Wanderers, and, you know, we've got to move on. Yeah, obviously we haven't been where we wanted this year, and you know, as a playing group, we all know that. We've rectified that, and you know, sometimes it's difficult being in a position like this, but you just got to work out of it, and that's what we've been doing every day. Just been grinding on the training park. You know, we need to stay positive. You know, the league's so tight this year. You know, one win, you know, you jump a few spots. So, look, we take the point here. You know, we've got to change our focus because we've got a big game on Wednesday night in Korea. Yeah, look, you know, for some reason I always dribble on my right foot. I'm not sure why, but it's just a habit. Yeah, look, obviously I saw the play. I'm not sure who it was, and they kind of covered my left side. So, you know, he just gave me a good look at goal, and, you know, I just wanted to just hit the target, you know, as long as I hit the target. But obviously, you know, it went a bit better than I thought. Broski must have forgot about that. Yeah, look, I think it's a, you know, it's a learning experience for a lot of the players being in a situation like this. We do have a young squad, younger than last year. So it's just about helping them through it. But I think our biggest issue, you could say, this season has just been the front third. You know, being more clinical, more numbers in the box. You know, we've tweaked a few things in the last few weeks, so we've been working on that, trying to perfect that. Yeah, I think that's been, you know, we're pretty solid defensively, you know, as a unit starting from the front. But I think, you know, we just need to be a bit more clinical when we do get the ball in that front third. Yeah, well, I've got a flight early tomorrow morning, so we'll get there as early as possible, so, you know, all the boys can recover. It was a tough game tonight. You know, conditions, it was humid. Pitch was a bit not so great tonight, but yeah, it's just about getting there as early as possible, recover, and obviously just mentally refresh and get ready, because we know we're in for a tough game on Wednesday night. Thanks, guys. Thank you.
Yes, Jacob Farrell, we had to pull him away from the fans, so I think you've well and truly made your mark back in the A-League. How does it feel to be back?
Yeah, it feels good to be back. Haven't had many minutes lately, so I'm thankful for the Wanderers that give me the opportunity and good to be playing again.
You mentioned that it was a frustrating time overseas. What are you hoping to get out of your stint here?
I just really want to play consistent football again. I haven't been on the pitch for a while, so it's really good to be back here and hopefully I can kickstart my career a little bit again here.
You said you arrived only on Wednesday, so it's moved very quickly. How's it been in the change room? What is it like with all of the guys? Are you settling in?
Yeah, I've settled in well. The boys have got around me already. It's a good vibe, positive. You know, there's still a bit of work to be done, but I'm pretty confident that we'll do well the rest of the season.
Awesome. And you did say one of your goals here at Western Sydney Wanderers was to help them make the top 6. What's the opportunity for you there and what spark can you bring to this side?
Yeah, obviously it's a goal. I think it will always be a goal no matter where you are on the ladder. But yeah, I think the fans deserve it. The club deserves it. The boys work hard, so I think it's the least we can do for the fans is do our best to try and make that top 6.
Well, the Red and Black are happy to have you. We're happy to have you back in the A-League. Thank you so much for chatting with us.
Thank you. Cheers.
There's so many things I love about football. The way it brings people together.
We all play the same language of football.
It's just sweat that fills your eyes.
And I think that this could be a really special tournament for us.
When you unite together for that one goal, it's something special that you just cannot get anywhere else.
Cara Cooney cross, thinks about the long shot and she finds it! And it's special! Huge moment for the Matildas.
The only place to see the Combank Matildas and every game of the AFC Asian Cup is on Paramount Plus.